Your attention, please, to the video screens for our main presentation, the first inductee into the Verizon Academic All-America class of 2003.
It's scary to consider carrying a football with 11 defenders hell-bent on tackling you. Strength and a few moves may keep you up, but if you want to average 4.5 yards a carry, you gotta have balance. Chris Howard grew up in a suburb of Dallas, Texas, where he attended public schools, worshiped at a local church, and proceeded to accomplish, with premeditated precision, virtually everything he ever set out to do in life. The second son of Marvin and Carolyn Howard, and little brother to Baylor nose guard Reggie, Chris encountered a string of epiphanies early on that proved that he could master his environment on command. In 7th grade, on his first team, on the first play of his first game, Chris ran a kickoff back 85 yards for a touchdown. He completed the game, scoring 2 more. A year later, after examining his report card, Chris decided to clean up the A-minuses mixed with his A-pluses. His next report card featured a perfect score.
This mantra that my mother and father instilled in both my brother and me, which was one to whom much is given, much is also expected. So I always felt like I didn't have any excuses for not just doing everything I possibly could.
The lessons Chris learned early established a pattern for success. He saw a picture of a cadet in full dress and determined he would lead his high school ROTC program. By senior year, he was battalion commander, in charge of 110 cadets. He ran for student council and was elected president. He captained the football team to a state championship and led the team in rushing. He was president of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and finished near the top of his class. When college finally entered the picture, scholarships from across the country flooded the Howard home.
Coach DeBerry just said to me one thing: by golly, Chris, I'm going to work your tail off. So I had no choice but to accept his charge and to come out to Air Force Academy.
At Air Force Academy, Chris studied American politics and continued to rack up accomplishments. As a 2-year starter in the Falcon backfield, Chris averaged 4.5 yards a carry, blocking, receiving, and rushing with equal efficiency. He was the highest-ranked senior, group commander in charge of basic training, and made the dean's list every semester while acting as class president from sophomore year on.
Build a plan, have self-discipline, have a system that works, and just adhere to it. And that's something that I've been doing for a long time, and I've gotten better and better.
Chris finished his tour at the academy, leading the Falcons to a Liberty Bowl upset over Ohio State. He finished 13th in his class and received a Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford, where he earned master's and doctorate of philosophy degrees in politics. Chris was intrigued by Cecil Rhodes' outlook on race, and he traveled to South Africa to see the country firsthand. He was struck by the severity of the AIDS problem there, and during his stay, he met a woman named Barbara.
I walked into the room and I see this beautiful woman sitting on the couch, and I say, I kid you not, I look at her and I go, I've met my future wife.
Flying helicopters and serving as a Special Operations Intelligence Officer, Chris was selected to accompany then Defense Secretary William Cohen to Cape Town in 1999. He was the youngest advisor in the U.S. delegation, and the opportunity to work in South Africa fit well with his new family situation. When the Chris, Barb, Cohen, and Joshua family returned to the States, Chris joined Bristol Myers Squibb as project manager for the company's AIDS initiative, Secure the Future. He enrolled at Harvard to pursue an MBA, earned first-year honors, and created the Impact Young Lives Foundation, helping youth in South Africa. How do you learn your real potential? How do you discover all you can be? Take your shot, step out, and fly free on the wings of the moment. Dr. Chris Howard, 2003 Verizon Academic All-America Hall of Fame inductee.
Presenting the award to Dr. Chris Howard, two-time academic All-America Outland Trophy winner, NFL Super Bowl defensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys, A-10 Thunderbolt pilot, and fellow graduate of the U.S. Air Force Academy, Mr. Chad Hennings.
Chris, let me start by saying it gives me great pleasure to welcome a fellow Zoomie into the Hall of Fame. Anytime we can get another Falcon on the force, that's a positive contribution. That said, as I was recalling our days at the Academy, I remembered one scrimmage, my senior year, when you were just a freshman. You burst into the line and put one of those quick slip moves on me and broke for about 15 yards. And I thought right then and there, you'd never amount to very much. Since then, my wounded pride has healed, and I am extremely pleased to welcome you across this line and into the Verizon Academic All-American Hall of Fame. Chris Howard.
Sometimes I feel like I'm watching an African-American version of Forrest Gump. I did want to say, before I start rolling the teleprompter here, Dickenberg was speaking with me a few minutes ago, and he wanted me to add the next chapter in the defining moments of Chris Howard, and that was that after finishing Harvard Business School about a month ago, I've been promptly redrafted into the Air Force, where I'm a major, and in about 6 months' time, I'll probably be heading to Baghdad. So I ask that you pray for me and keep in your thoughts and keep my family in your thoughts. And I guess I say that because I think our defining moments might not yet be defined. So that said, it is indeed an honor to be admitted to the Verizon Academic All-American Hall of Fame class of 2003, along with Steve, Donna, Kip, Kim, and Tom. In a time when the headlines are saturated with stories of devious behavior on the part of coaches, players, and front office personnel alike, it is refreshing that a company like Verizon takes the time to recognize the good in sports, and more specifically, the scholar athlete. On behalf of my classmates, I want to take this opportunity to thank the fine people of Verizon for supporting the Academic All-American program. Now, like most of my fellow inductees, I never distinguish between academic excellence, athletic accomplishments, and service community. I've been supported along the way by God, a loving mother, Caroline, a dutiful father, Marvin, and a supportive extra big brother, Reggie. And I always felt I had little choice but both to excel and to exceed in academics and athletics. And I want to ask these people to please stand and be recognized by me. But this Hall of Fame recognizes its selectees' achievements well after they have left the playing field. And for me, that period has been molded by one person, my loving wife, Barbara, who would also like to ask to stand so I can thank her in this public forum. During my journey to the Hall of Fame, I have managed to pick up an award or two, but they all pale in comparison to the long and lasting relationships I've developed with coaches, teammates, mentors, and teachers. To each of them, I say thank you for your support, your love, and consideration. Tonight, I am further blessed by the fact that many of them could attend this event, including friends, teammates, and even opponents who became friends. I wish to honor each of them with a personal round of applause. They are seated in the Chris Howard Personal Posse Applause section on table 22, and I ask them to stand. Always bring an applause section with you when you win an award. On a sad note, it was my hope that my head football coach in high school, Tommy Kimbrough, would be able to attend. Unfortunately, Coach Kimbrough is recuperating from prostate cancer surgery, so I ask that you keep him in your prayers. Thank all of you again for that, and thank you, Coach Kimbrough. I'd like to conclude my remarks by acknowledging the fact that I was merely a good pupil to my peers, leaders, and to those I led as I listened to their good counsel and advice over the years. To that end, I would like to close by offering a top 10 list to those lessons that I've amassed through these interactions by speaking to two very important young people just setting out on their life's journey. Those are my two sons, Cohen and Joshua. Cohen and Joshua, stand up for a second. Now I have a bag for them. Katie, do you have the bag for my boys? Katie, can you hear me back there? Did it make its way up here? Thank you very much. Who says defensive linemen are useless? I tell you what. Don't fumble. Don't fumble. I'm just teasing. Chad's gonna be after me later on. He hit me many more times than he missed hitting me. I want you to know that. And he laughed about it when he did it. He was a very evil guy back in the day. And I'm not kidding, but anyway. So here goes, the Cohen and Joshua. This is Daddy. This is your top 10 list in the form of a packing list of what I want you to take out when you go out into the world. So here we go. First off, a small globe. So you will recognize that you hold the entire world in your hands. Number two, a map. Because you first have to identify where you want to go if you ever plan on getting there. Number three, some earplugs, so that you can drown out the sound of those who will inevitably tell you you can't do it. Also, a brush, so if the earplugs don't work, you can just brush off those feelings of uncertainty and doubt. You trust me on number five, it's in there somewhere, I can't seem to, oh, here it is. Number five, a candle, because sometimes the only light you will find in life is the one you have to light all by yourself. But Mommy has to hold the matches because you're too young. Number six, a toy, and I've got two here, two toys, so don't fight, boys, so that you'll never forget that we are all children at heart. Number seven, a book, a notepad, and some pens that are dug in there somewhere, because the mind is a muscle that needs to be exercised every single day. Number eight, some binoculars, because sometimes you'll just have to see for yourself. Number nine, in the very bottom of the bag, a set of keys, because even when you arrive at your destination, you may have to try a few times to get what you really want. And finally, to my two children, Cohen and Joshua, the last thing I want to give you is a mirror, because looking into it is the only way to determine if you've truly succeeded. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Hold a second.
The goal is the same on every play, in every game, for every player. The beauty is in how you do it. Kim Mulkey grew up in rural Hammond, Louisiana, the first of two daughters raised by parents who weren't afraid to let their little girls be